This is it, man. The end of an era for the Philadelphia Flyers and one Cam Atkinson. Now, last time we had made a video about Atkinson, it was actually a few days ago. Like, this was really recent. We had talked about how Atkinson reportedly rejected a trade to the San Jose Sharks. We already knew from that information that the Philadelphia Flyers were looking to move on from Atkinson and his services. But because the guy didn't want to go to San Jose, because he vetoed that trade, because he stale remained, the Flyers had no choice but to buy him out. The Philadelphia Flyers announced today they will buy out the remainder of the contract of forward Cam Atkinson, according to GM Danny Briere. Let's go out there and read this press release from about 10 minutes ago. When it comes to someone with the accomplishments and character of Cam, this was an exceptionally tough decision to make, Briere said. Throughout his time with the Flyers, Cam has displayed an incredible work ethic and level of professionalism that is a true credit to him as a player and a person. I've witnessed firsthand the amount of effort, dedication, and perseverance he went through during an incredibly tough rehab process in order to come back and be a leader for our team on and off the ice. Man, Danny Briere is really going out there and singing his praises. I would like to thank Cam for all he has put into raising the standard of our team. Interesting comment there. Cam will always have a place in the Flyers organization, and we wish all the success for him and his family in the future. Atkinson departs the Flyers after 3 seasons, including 2 seasons of play, where he had recorded 36 goals and 42 assists for 78 points in 143 regular season games. At the end of 21-22, his first year with the team, Atkinson was awarded the Bobby Clarke Trophy, the MVP, and the Yannick Dupré Class Memorial Award. So, just from reading this, you can kind of infer what happened to Cam Atkinson and his level of play as of 2023-2024. The guy simply stunk in this most previous season, and it's through no fault of his own. The guy's already 35 years old. He has had his heyday in the NHL. He was awesome. Such an amazing player for being only 5'8", 176, right-handed right-wing guy. The contract that is being bought out is $5.875 million a year till the end of next season. So, as Danny Briere said, 1 year left on the contract with that $5.875 cap hit. That's a lot of money for a guy who only went out there and had 28 points in this most recent season of play. Now, of course, 50 of those points happened in 73 games in his first year. He was not able to play in 22-23. This is just what happens, man. When you get old, when you're a little bit more broken down, when the wear and tear of a long NHL career starts to pile up on you, this is ultimately what you get. A guy who was a 60, near 70-point player with the Columbus Blue Jackets just 5 years ago, fizzling out and only having 28 points. He was really not great this previous season, even though he was an MVP caliber player for the Flyers in 21-22. This is just a super unfortunate story of a guy who really doesn't help out the team as much as a $5.8 million guy should. And honestly, when you think about the buyout itself, this is pretty okay, I would say. Sure, you could have either waited 1 more year with $5.875 mil on your payroll, or if you go over to Cap Friendly over here, and yeah, I know, RIP Cap Friendly, this is near the end of Cap Friendly's life cycle as being publicly available for all of us who are not working for the Washington Capitals to view. If we buy out Cam Atkinson's current contract, we can see that the cap hit calculations gives the Philadelphia Flyers a pretty good savings in this upcoming season, $3.516 million of savings for this upcoming year, and then next year in 25-26, they'll only be on the books for $1.758 million. So there's a lot of savings here in the short term. The long-term penalty, which isn't even really long-term, it's only for 1 season in 2025-2026. The cap penalty is only $1.78 million. So that's a pretty reasonable amount of money to shell out for a guy that you really wanted to get off of your team. You were so desperate to trade him to San Jose. He already said no, so you kind of got no reason to go out there and continue with him, especially if you're not really too believing that he's going to be able to bounce back. I mean, what, you think he's going to come back from 28 points and get 50 points again after the season he had in 22-23 where he didn't play at 35 years old nonetheless? I mean, say what you want about the Philadelphia Flyers and their ability to remain competitive, but having guys like Cam Atkinson on this team definitely didn't help them out as much as he should have. It's kind of funny, honestly, when you consider the fact that the Flyers were so much better in 2023, 2024. I mean, there's a lot good going on with this team. They've got a lot of young guys. They're looking to ship away some of these younger guys. We'll take a look at the direction the Flyers decide to go down as the years go on here. But for Cam Atkinson, a guy that was one of these top-tier leaders on the team, no far back than like just 2 seasons ago. I mean, he was the second most productive guy on the squad, and second in goals, too, behind James Van Riemsdyk. Man, look at this roster. 21-22 was a pretty bad travesty for the Philadelphia Flyers. Claude Giroux, 42 points in 57 games played, the best point-per-game guy by far on this team. Keith Yandel, Derek Brassard, Justin Braun. Ay. That was just 2 seasons ago? That's kind of nuts, eh? Either way, though, Cam Atkinson went from that to what he ended up becoming this previous season, and a lot of Flyers fans are going out there and saying similar things here. It was posted onto the Our Hockey sub. It's crazy how badly Cam Atkinson played last season. I don't know what happened, but he just fell off fast. Father Time is undefeated, they say. That's how I felt about Martin Jones. The dude was solid and good for the first 3 seasons, and all of a sudden, he just fell off hard. Cap hit for the Flyers is not too bad, to be honest. Makes sense, as he was going to have to be traded at negative value, and the buyout isn't bad. Really makes little sense to do this. I'd salute you, Bub goes out there and says, as they aren't going to compete next year either. Why add cap restraints? But this is definitely more for the player, and in turn, shows the organization as a good place for players to go. Then you have some other Flyers fans responding because now it allows us to take on more bad contracts for assets if we want. Also, they need his roster spot more than they need the cap restraints. We also still have Ryan Ellis who can get put on the LTIR at any point, so Cam's dead cap hit isn't really an issue. So at the end of the day, this is a buyout that is very unfortunate for the career, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge the guy is 35 years old. He's played a long and lustrous NHL career so far, and look, for Cam Atkinson and his family, Danny Briere said it best, they wish him the best and all the success for him and his family in the future. So for Cam Atkinson, if he's able to find himself another NHL team to rebound with and actually produce points, there could be an interesting, nice revival story here. Of course, he's not going to go to San Jose. He already rejected a trade over there, but now, as a free agent to be, the former Columbus and Philadelphia forward has himself some options. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Cam Atkinson getting bought out, his $5.875 million AAV contract getting taken off the books. The penalty is pretty good. It's not the worst thing in the world. $3.5 million in savings next season, $1.758 penalty for 25-26. This is pretty good for Philadelphia. I like this move a lot for their team and their organizational makeup, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Cam Atkinson getting bought out? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.